on that. I just seem to be on the Fish Friday here, but I'm gonna be up there now. Oh, cool.
Hello, 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 and welcome to day 2 of the Energetics of Success. I am so excited to have you all here. I am so excited. Okay, so before we start, let's just take a moment and ground ourselves. I want to know how many of you were here yesterday? How many of you showed up again? And if you couldn't, because you couldn't, that is totally fine. But if you've made an extra effort to show up today, congratulations. That is already, honestly, we are our biggest enemy. So when we learn to overcome the evil of our mind that is constantly telling us shit that we shouldn't believe anyways, which is the whole thing about human design, that is already like you've conquered the biggest enemy of all, yourself. So that's amazing. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for committing. And I really always like doing that because it primes our mind. It primes the juices of our consciousness to really just take a moment and set an intention. And for that, we're going to create a little bit of energy. Sandra, I see you. Let's create some energy. Let's feel the warmth and the spark and the heat. It's actually white because like if you put your hands a little bit separate, you can feel how they like automatically, the energy like expands. Put your right hand on your heart. Put your left hand on your belly. Me with my openness of everything needs to like take a breath, to skip a beat, to calm down, noticing all of your fantastic, beautiful energy. And I just want you to take a moment in this opportunity that is presented to you today. And I said this yesterday, but I really just want to bring awareness. For whatever reason, and the reason being it doesn't cost us effort or sacrifice or something tangible, we often dismiss things that are given to us for free. And so this 3-day event is my way of thanking my community for sharing my content, for engaging, for DMing me and creating this beautiful, uplifting community. And you are making my day every day so worthwhile. Every single comment, every single share. Yesterday I was going through all of your messages. I was like crying. Being so grateful for everything that we are co-creating together for a better world, for a more aligned future. And I want you to really understand that, especially today, I feel like we're going to have what in human design is called the cellular activation. And this is a really transformative information. And so I just want you to take a moment, take it all in, put your intentions of gratitude, taking a deep breath, filling your heart full, and really making a commitment to your highest self. That you know that in order to be brave and courageous, to take the next steps in your life, to match your highest self, to follow your heart's desire, it will take courage to stand out. And by committing to showing up here every single day, with your heart open and your mind open, you are taking one step, showing yourself that you can trust yourself, that when you commit, you will show up and you will no longer self-abandon. The way that we relate our worth to ourselves is what the universe will reflect back to us. Everything you believe about yourself, everything that you eat, the clothes that you wear, the people that you allow yourself to be surrounded with, be intimate with, all of these are constant communications with the universe about what you believe to be worthy of. If you're ready to commit, comment, I am ready to up level in the chat. And comment. Okay, I'm ready to up level. Claim this energy, my beautiful souls, to tune into this beautiful frequency that we're going to cultivate today. Today is one of my favorite days because I'm going to talk about the energy type. And you might be sitting here being like, oh, Micah, I already know so much about my energy type. If you don't know anything yet about human design, because I've seen that some of you are really, really new, Claudia is here today to support me. And she's going to send a link in the chat to download your chart in case you want to have it in front of you so that you can like double check things when I explain. There's so much misinformation. And if you're one of the smart ones who are like, I'm just going to chat GPT my human design, please do not. Okay, this is a cautionary tale of somebody that I've had in my DMs being like, oh my God, Mike, I thought I was a projector. ChatGPT told me I'm a projector. But now, taking your course, I've realized I'm a manifesting generator and everything in my life makes sense. And I'm like, whoa, that is like a big contrast. Going from projector to manifesting generator is like life-altering information. So just know that even though I am a fan of ChatGPT, okay, I want to let you know, my 8-year-old daughter is like, Mom, can you ask ChatGPT how to flirt with the guy? I'm like, no, ask your mom. She knows these things. But I'm open to the future. I am ready for AI to come and sweep us away. But it's not a fully funded resource yet in human design information, at least, okay? So the energy type, why am I so adamant on the energy type? There's so much misinformation. If you're the people that have a 1 in your profile and you're like, oh, no, I don't need anybody, I've got this, I'm gonna research, I'm gonna go into the human design rabbit hole and fall 5 meters deep until I'm in the dark web of human design, reading on Reddit if human design is a cult. then you've probably come out of that experience more confused than you're actually found clarity and answers to your questions. And because the energy type is the most important aspect of your human design, because understanding how to actually really embody your energetic authenticity is the difference between staying in your mind and knowing all of the information and wanting to learn more and asking me the most random specific question about human design available, like what is my 3-point Mercury grade in the subconscious in my sleep rave design, okay? Maybe we want to start living out the basics first, because once we have the basics, the rest will flourish, and I will stand by this. Once you know your energy type, your strategy, your not-self theme, and your signature, and you don't know this only intellectually, but you're actually living this out, you're having this embodied in every cell of your body, all of your other gifts will flourish. They will bloom like flowers, and you will dispel the most abundant aroma ever, okay? So we're going to dig deep into the energy type, and I will talk about all 5 energy types, and I want you to be aware, even if I'm not speaking about your specific energy type. You might have a child, you might have a lover, you might have a parent, you might have a boss, you might have a teammate, you might have an enemy that you need to know deeply, okay? So really be aware and conscious, because you never know how this information is going to help you understand people in your life. Human design is incredible for us. It is incredible for self-development, but we are transpersonal people. We need others. We need to have a sense of belonging. And when we have more empathy and we stop taking everything everybody does personally against us, and we start understanding, oh, this is not because they're trying to tell me I'm shit. It's just that this is how they are. It has nothing to do with me. We start having a much more positive rapport about who we are ourselves, and a much more loving, empathetic, patient nature to nurture the people and the relationships in our life. Okay, so let me really hone this in before we begin. I know we've done this yesterday, but I see some familiar faces. I love when I see familiar faces. It is so cute. I'm so grateful for your love and support. Write your big 3 energy type, your big 3 energy type, your big 3 human design. Our energy type, authority, and profile. If you don't know, there's a link in the chat where you can download your body graph for free, okay? So, because I talk about energy type so much, because I truly believe this information is the one that will create the biggest impact in your life, I want to focus today a bit more on money, wealth, abundance, and business. Okay, as I said on the first day, tomorrow we will open the enrollment for the Transformational Human Design Certification. This is the last time you can join this year, but I will tell you more about this tomorrow, okay? But I want to really make you understand how incredibly impactful and life-changing understanding and living out your human design can be for your safety, for your magnetism, and for this concept that we learned yesterday, the spiritual abundance. We can no longer make money if we're just doing it from a logical, strategic, soulless place, okay? Okay. Let me see. I want to see your energy type. I want to see your profile. I want to see your authority. Also, if you're not yet in the Telegram, please join the Telegram. I think Claudia might have a link. We're nearly 200 people in the Telegram, and the energy there is so beautiful, being able to connect to you and getting your feedback, as a little projector soul. This fills my cup and keeps me motivated and just inspires me. I have so many new ideas of content to create, because I really, really get to assess what it is you need. And everything that you shared to me in the Telegram today, I am implementing and putting into the beautiful subconscious dive we will have at the end to close the day and really anchor and let go of anything that is keeping us small, anything that is keeping us in lack mindset, all of the contracts that we have about our where we're not allowed to make the money that we want to do or see the success in our life that our soul truly desires. Okay, so basic question. Human design, we read stuff, it resonates, but I want to explain what actually human design is. Human design is the science of our aura. We all have an energetic field that is around 2 meters, 3 meters big, okay? And in the olden times, it has been said that famous figures of history like Jesus, Muhammad, Maria Magdalena, that they had an aura that preceded kilometers. And so we really need to understand that no matter where we go, and I want you to just, practice. You can get up even if you want to, and you can get a look on my outfit, no, but you can really just sense and feel what 3 meters, your arm's length around you actually looks like. This is how we are constantly interacting with every single person. You will go out to the supermarket, you will walk down the street, you will be hanging out in a room, and you will intertwine with other people's energy field, right? And so because our energetics are either open, feminine, here to take energy in, or they're dominant, here to influence other people with our energy, there is a constant mix and match and influx of energetic mist is what I call it, okay? These energetic kind of influences that are touching our aura and that are influencing and interacting with our gifts, creating new energetic entities. And so just so that you understand that even though this is your full authentic self has its mission and its passion, when you go deeper into understanding your human design, you will notice how these energies influence your path, your decisions, your worries, your fears, okay? So we have this energetic body. Everything in our life is matter. And that means that everything in our life is energy. Once you start understanding your own energetic imprint, your own aura, your own field, you start understanding why you have resistance in your life and what are the steps to take so that you can find flow. And if you're anything like me and you have tried every single thing out there and you still haven't seen the success you desired, it is because no matter how much friggin' information we have at our fingertips right now, we can literally ChatGPT nearly everything. We can Google, I Google on TikTok. I don't know if you get what I mean, but you can search on TikTok. AI is in Google. There's every single instruction. There's a guy that has millions of subscribers on YouTube who is telling you how to tie a bow and shave your face. We can literally figure out everything that we want. It is somewhere in a deep dark hole on the internet. And yet, we are realizing information is not enough. But we're really at the cusp, we're at the iceberg of understanding the power and the influence of energetics. And as I said yesterday, we feel them. We understand what bad vibes, what good vibes are. Did you know that the first frequency that we perceive as humans from another human is the frequency that's radiating from their heart space? That is wild. I don't even properly see you, but I already sense what vibration your heart is at. And if you start tuning into that, if you start cultivating energetic intelligence, which is what I am all about, which I believe human design has the information, the tool, the language to help us understand, you're going to start having a sixth sense that is so needed in these times of change, in these times of AI, in these times where the tangible is going to be very ethereal, okay? So, human design, it is your energetic expression. It is what is going to help you understand why you're doing everything right and still nothing is working, because it doesn't matter how much money you spend on somebody else's fitness program. You don't have their genetics, you don't have their lifestyle, you don't have their traumas, you don't have their desires, you don't have their discipline, you don't have their, like, there's a trillion different ways that you're beautifully unique. And this idea that we have, like, oh, I'm just going to do what they're doing and everything will be fine. I remember before I started human design, I spent 2,000 euros on a business course where I was just like I was physically sick by doing, like, do a fake avatar. I'm like, this feels so not natural. This feels so inauthentic. I feel disgusted with this in myself by having to put myself through this, because it didn't feel authentic, real, honest from my heart. And then I went into, like, the Facebook chat or whatever they had there back then. And people were like, I'm calling and it isn't working. I'm like, projector, it's a projector. So the beautiful thing about starting to understand your energy type and starting to understand your energetic authenticity in human design is that you will still be able to utilize all this well of endless information that is nowadays out there for us to consume, to grow, to learn. But you will have a lens, you will have a filter through which you can take everything that you're learning and put it through the perspective of your own unique individual self. Because the only way that you will be able to stand out is by going your path alone. And there's a sea of stars, and we always find the one that sparkles the most. And the way that you can sparkle the most, my beautiful soul, is by really owning who you've come to be and deeply understanding that you are here for a purpose. And that purpose is contributing to the expansion of the world with your unique experience, expression, gifts, and energy. Okay? So, what is human design actually made of? Human design is made out of the I Ching, which is this ancient old knowledge. Kabbalah, which is the mystic side of Judaism that I've been studying for the last 3 years really deeply, and haven't been this obsessed about anything since human design, to be honest. I absolutely love the wisdom of the sages. It has the chakra systems that you might be more familiar with from yoga. It has quantum physics. But it also has genetics. And if you're like, Michael, what do you mean with genetics? This is crazy. A couple of months ago, I actually did a DNA testing. Not a DNA testing, which is like my ancestors, where I come from, no. But really understanding my hormones, my genetic disposition to certain illnesses or strength, or, you know, my sleep, my circadian rhythm. There were so many things. And it was crazy because when I was reading the analytics of my DNA testing, I could read that I was a projector in my human design from it. I was like, what? This is crazy. Because it felt so abstract to me to think about what genetics is in human design. Yeah, okay, whatever, fine. But it actually really makes sense when you start going deep into it. And of course, quantum physics and astrology, and all of these things are going to fit within your human design chart. And your human design chart is like a map. It is a roadmap to your energetic frequency. It is allowing you to understand how you work from the inside out. It is giving you the tools to know yourself intimately, to when everything around you is questionable, uncertain, and crumbling, you have certainty that you know what you have to listen to, who you are, how you're meant to operate, so that you can align with the energetics of the universe, so that you are divinely supported with the universe to get to your soul's desire and goals. And so this is the way that I see it. I truly believe that our soul has come into this lifetime completely whole. And it knows exactly what opportunities, what chances, what love, what money, what abundance, what adventures, what pain is meant for us to experience. And all of these things, they're kind of in a holding pattern. They're in this iCloud, and our aura holds the key. Our aura has the password that connects the things that are meant to us into our reality. And the reason you're sitting here right now is because your heart, your soul, your subconscious knows, oh my God, all of these wild, crazy, amazing, aligned, fulfilling, beautiful things are meant for me, but I don't know how to reach them. We have this in our heart. You know, if you're here, maybe you have a vision of what your life could look like. Maybe you've experienced, you felt it that one day dancing with your friend at the beach, or that one day that somebody made you a compliment and you had an incredible, successful day at work. There might be a moment in your life where you think back to and you have this incredible feeling of fulfillment, of energy, of success, of feeling full and whole and completed. Or maybe you have no idea what your dream life could look like. Or you've never felt that feeling of, oh my God, this is it. But what I can assure you is that all of us have experienced that feeling of like, this cannot be all life has to offer. This is a fucking shit show, and there needs to be more to life than this soul-sucking experience. And that is why you're here. Because down, deep down in your soul, in your heart, there is a voice that is telling you not to give up on your dreams, not to give up on what your soul is meant to experience. And so the beautiful thing is that human design, your aura, holds the key that is able to unlock everything that is meant for you. But what happens, and this is something we're going to talk about today, is that in human design, we have the conditioning and the process of deconditioning. And human design says it takes about 7 years to decondition. I am in my 8th year, and let me tell you, I think this is a process for forever. Yes, human design is deeply integrated. And yes, it is not something that I'm constantly assessing. It is natural. It's become a second language to me. But I truly believe that we're constantly up-leveling, getting more expanded, overcoming bigger obstacles, becoming a better version of ourselves, not in the endless pursuit of just like feeling like shit and trying to prove our worth, but in actually bringing more light into the world, digging deeper into the qualities we can offer, being more intentional about our words, about our love, about our energy, about our boundaries. All of these to be an exemplary human that can inspire other humans to shine their light bright. And so this conditioning feels like a slime that is on top of your aura, not allowing your soul, your energy, your frequency to connect to the aligned people, opportunities, money, abundance that is waiting for you. And this conditioning comes from when you were little and you had to sacrifice your true, full, authentic self in order to be loved, in order to be accepted, in order to survive physical and emotional damage and pain. And the moment that we need to reject a part of our whole authentic self in order to feel safe, in order to have a sense of belonging, we start experiencing what in psychology is called the lost self. This lost self that we detach from, that we ignore, that we deem too shameful, too embarrassed for anybody to know. If somebody knows this about me, then they won't love me. They'll kick me out of the family. They'll leave me out to die in the jungle. Okay, obviously most of us don't live in the jungle. But the sense is so deep. That fear is so intrinsic. It feels like death when we confront these parts of us that we have deemed too shameful to be seen. And this is the shadow that we really put deep down in our subconscious, that we try to mask by pretending our life is fantastic, that we try to hide behind by not telling the full truth of a story we're too ashamed to embrace. This is the part of ourselves that is keeping us away from shining our bright as our full authentic self. And if you've ever reflected on this situation, if you relate to what I'm sharing, I want you to just take a moment and deeply appreciate this pain, this shame, this blame that you might be carrying about parts of yourself that you maybe know, but you have not allowed yourself to say openly and to own yet. And remember, everything that you don't own will own you. But I want you to take a moment and understand this is where you are now. And this is where you want to get to, okay? Make a mental note. This is where you are now, and this is where you want to get to. You might think that you're hitting your head against the wall and that there's these patterns, that there's coping mechanisms, that there's these things that are stopping you. There's this wall that is stopping you from becoming who you want to be. But every coping mechanism, every wall, every pattern that repeats itself, every time you're hitting against the wall and you are frustrated and you hate that side of yourself and you're disappointed with your lack of discipline and you are like disgusted by your lack of bravery or courage or whatever it is, this deep shame that is coming up, everything that right now is stopping you from becoming the person your soul desires to be, your heart wants to become, you know your highest self is asking you to level up to, everything that's stopping you at one point was developed to keep you safe. Okay? So please take a moment to be grateful, to be kind, to have empathy. For those parts of yourself that right now feel like they're keeping you from who you're meant to be. And instead of blaming them, putting hate on them, shaming them for existing, ask them with curiosity. And you can write this down and you can come back to this later this evening whenever you feel ready. Ask these parts of yourself, what are you here to teach me? And what is it you need from me to heal? Yeah? Okay. The moment that we start understanding that these parts of ourselves are those that make us unique, that the more personal we share our own story, the more universal people will relate. It is crazy, it is wild when we watch a movie that is so specific and we still all relate to that one feeling, even though our story has nothing to do with the plot we're watching. But there's something about the resonance in the feeling that we understand. And so you might think you're alone, but what you're feeling is something that we've all felt at some point in our life. And so the moment that you start digging up those pieces of yourself that you felt were unlovable, shameful, or embarrassments, and you bring them back into your whole authentic self through the process of deconditioning of your human design and your energy type, when you bring all of those parts back together, you come back to that feeling, to that sense, to that deep understanding of embracing your full authentic self. And when you achieve that expression of your full authentic self, your aura, your slime will be cleansed, your deconditioning process has been completed, and your aura is free, aligned, and full of energy to pull in the right opportunities, chances, money, abundance, business opportunities, and whatever else your soul desires. This is why understanding your energy type and your human design can be so life-changing. I want to start talking about the projector. Let me know in the comments who of you is a projector, loves a projector, knows a projector, has a projector in their life. Okay, so the projector has a penetrating aura. The projector is only 20% of the population, and it is really here to see people deeply because of the energy of the projector that is meant to constantly focus on the soul of the person that they have in front of them. And so the projector is going to thrive on one-on-one occasions. If you're thinking about a business, always, no matter what it is, try to find situations where you have one-on-one time with the person in front of you. And so this beautiful, penetrating, focused aura is really born to understand, to ask, to see what is up with the other person. Nobody will see you as deeply and understand who you've come to be better than a projector. They will see deep in your soul, and once you have been witnessed and seen by a projector, it is really, really, really hard to close a blind eye, okay? What is the purpose of a projector? The purpose of a projector is to guide us into the new paradigm. As we were discussing yesterday, the new paradigm comes in 2027. There's the shift in consciousness. And so there is a whole new way of doing life. The reason projectors are so important to live an aligned life is because you are going to be the person that shows us how things can be done different. Projectors don't have consistent energy. Consistent energy doesn't mean you do not have energy, okay? Because this is one of the things that pisses me off the most. No, I can't do it. I'm a projector. I don't have energy. Zip it. Never let anything that I tell you or anybody else or any human design information keep you small, use as an excuse to not do what your heart and soul desires to do. Okay? This is so important. I need to get it across. I'm mumbling. So, your purpose is to show up as your full authentic self. Because when you show up as your full authentic self, that is when you can show the world that there is a different way of achieving things. There is a different way of living life. You don't have consistent energy. That does not mean you don't have energy. The ideal work energetics of a projector is working 3 hours a day. Okay, and everybody's like, what do you mean? How am I ever gonna make money by working 3 hours a day? This doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm a projector. I am obsessed. I love work. I'm so passionate. I work 24/7. Okay, if the day would have more hours, I would work more hours. But it is very important to understand that every projector has a specific niche. This is not a business niche. This is not something that you strategically figure out with a quiz, okay? This is something that you deep down truly know. This is something that you know that you're great at when you were a little kid. This is an intrinsic way of seeing things, of sensing things. And if there's one thing that I want you to understand as a projector, if there's one thing that you should take away from today, is that your worth does not come from how much you do, but how well you're able to explain what only you can see. Okay? Because we live in a society right now that is built for generators and manifesting generators, where we get paid for the hour, by the hour. This makes zero sense because it's keeping us all stuck in a job we hate just because we're sitting at the desk. If jobs were started to be compensated by merit and passion, we would all be happier because we would not last in jobs we hate. The job will kick us out for us, okay? We are scared. We think we have safety, and then we hold on to something that is absolutely not aligned, right? So all the projectors that I know, they have a niche, and they might work only for 3 hours in that specific niche. So I never do more than 3 readings a day because then I get drained, I lose my voice. Today I'm doing this, haven't done anything for the rest of the day. I mean, I've worked on little things and had meetings and stuff, but I haven't done anything that is like specific, my niche of understanding and explaining human design, right? If you look at Kanye West, okay, no comment, but I'm just talking about his energy type. He's obsessed. Does he ever sleep? I don't think so, okay? Gary V. It's interesting because these are people that are like highly energetic, obsessed. They don't know, they don't differentiate work from personal life. It is all enmeshed because it is just the passion of bringing forward a new way of understanding the world. And that is wild because you as a projector are here to guide other people. But why are you here to guide? Okay, because you have the projecting aura, because you see the soul of the person better than they see themselves. But because you don't have that consistent energy, you know how to optimize your energy. What does that mean? It means that you're able to do much more in much less of a time frame. It means that you're here to optimize. You're here to make things cheaper, more affordable, easier to understand, faster, so that we all can stop wasting our time doing shit that has nothing to do with our purpose. Okay? So, as a projector, you have this niche. You have this thing that you're meant to be doing specifically, this one thing that you see better than anybody else. And so understanding that you're really the new leader of the generation, because when you do things differently and you step out of the way it's always been done, you become a role model to the rest of the generation for us to follow, okay? And there's something that I want to address. And that is a concept that I've started to develop a couple of years ago, which is the energy peak. And I'm going to discuss the energy peak of each energy type. The energy peak for the projector is a tricky one, because the energy peak is when you have the most energy. The way where you fuel your energy is with feedback. You won't have energy until you gain feedback. Okay, and this is hard because it means that you have to be talking into the void for a considerable long amount of time until you get feedback. So it is really interesting to understand that as a projector, this is the way that you operate ideally. Okay, what does it really mean to only have 3 hours where you're meant to be working? Let's take Mick Jagger, okay? If you don't know Mick Jagger, that means that you're way younger than I am. Different generation, but Mick Jagger was an icon, a rock star. Like, he was the singer of the Rolling Stones, and he's a projector. How do you know a projector is aligned in business? They do one thing, they do that forever, and they never burn out. And if we look at Mick Jagger, and we say his niche was performance, he would never perform more than 3 hours a day. But what would he do during the rest of his time? The way a projector will gain the maximum of magnetism is through learning. So Mick Jagger would study poetry and ballet dance and like read books and like all of the things that he would do so that he could be the best performer. Okay, this is how you need to think as a projector. The generator is about 38% of the population. And your aura is open and magnetic. It pulls people in. When you do the things that you love, you really have this incredible magnetism, this radiance. You're like the light for the mosquitoes. Everybody's like, "Ooh, what are you doing? Let's have a coffee. Let's go out. Let's, spend time together." So you have this aura that when people hang out with you, they leave you more excited about life, more energetic. They have this kick in their step. They're like, "Ooh, I don't know what's up, but life is awesome." And that's because as a generator, you walk into a room and your energy, your smile, your uplifting vibration is contagious, okay? Your purpose as a generator is really to bring joy into people's life. It is to activate people's capacity for enjoyment, for creation. Everything that you see was created by a generator, was created by the passion of a generator, okay? And so your purpose is all about really feeling into your body and being deeply excited about what feels right and juicy to you, okay? The generator's energetic peak is the doing of the thing. It is not in the thinking of the thing. It is not in the feedback. Generators couldn't care less. If they're creative, if you're a creative energy generator, let me know if you're a generator, know a generator, love a generator. If you're a generator, you're going to have this desire to do things with your hand. And this is the way you're meant to work most efficiently. This is the way that you actually create abundance. I remember very clearly I had this story of a generator that came to me and she's like, "I am in such distress." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Well, my business is too successful." I'm like, excuse me, I'm not used to these kind of problems. And she's like, "You know what? I stepped out of this." She was a graphic designer, or she is a graphic designer. She stepped out of this huge, big company because she wanted to do the thing she loved doing, which was a specific Christmas design or whatever. I don't remember. And so that went so well that the orders were coming in. She was doing what she loved. Her energy was magnetic. She was just focused on what she was loving doing. This is such an important understanding for you as a generator. You have consistent energy. You wake up in the morning and you're like, let's go. If you have trouble sleeping, or if you have trouble staying asleep, there's something about the way that you have energy expenditure that it isn't aligned. Your energy as a generator is like a phone, okay? It should be completely dead when you go to sleep, like blank. You plug it in during the night and then it charges up, and then in the morning you're ready to go. You're ready to do your things, you're on it, you're excited, you're like, ready to conquer the day. And so what happened is that the more you put energy in something you love, the more energy you will get back. And the biggest mistake you can do as a generator is to think about the future, to worry about the future, because it pulls you away from what is here to guide you most, which is your sacral, which I will get into in a moment. And so for you as a generator, it is so important to understand that your energy is a barometer to teach you if you are on the right track or not. And so this designer, she was so focused on what she was loving doing that she didn't even realize how big her company was getting. And so she had a manifestor husband who does not have consistent energy, my dear manifestors. And manifestors are here to be leaders, are here to really kick people's butt and have a big vision for the future. And so this generator client of mine was like, you know what? The company is getting so big. We're having so many orders. My husband recommended I hire a bunch of people. And now I'm just managing all these people and I'm so unhappy. I'm completely detached from what I love most, right? And so when you are a generator and you want to create a beautiful, successful life or business, it is so important that no matter what, you keep getting your hands dirty. You keep being in the process of the doing, because no matter what business gurus are telling you, or your coach is telling you, or your friends, your husband is telling you, you need to have your hands in the mud. You have to be the one really filing away at the thing. When you are so present in the joy and the excitement of the creation of the thing that you love, you stop being afraid of the future. You stop disconnecting from your sacral in fear of, oh my God, what will happen in the future? What if I don't have enough money? What if clients not coming? You know you are aligned when what you're doing fills you with so much excitement that you don't even have time to look around you and understand what's going on. And that is what your energy peak is. Your energy peak is in the creation. You couldn't care less if you're making a drawing or creating, like painting a watercolor thingy or making jewelry or taking photographs. Couldn't care less what people think about it afterwards, because you love the doing of it, okay? Manifestors. Manifestors are only 7% of the population, 7, 8. Okay, there is an understanding that there's more and more manifestors being born, which I think is very interesting, because manifestors are here to really be disruptors. If you're a manifestor, let me know in the chat. If you love a manifestor, if you have a manifestor child like my daughter, manifestors are a very rare breed of energy type. And you're here to be put in a position of leadership. You're the kings and the conquerors. You're here because, unlike the projector who's here to take something that already exists and make it better, you're here to make things from scratch, just like Nara Smith, okay? You're here to do things from scratch, to invent the wheel, to come up with something nobody has ever thought of. You have the grand vision and you're like, oh my God, Micah, but that's too much responsibility. It will never feel like this huge thing. You won't even notice the ripple effect and impact it will have in all of our lives when you just focus on your creative urge. And so the manifestor has these deep creative urges that are born from within, that allow them to have a vision for what is to come, for what they're here to put into the world. But a manifestor's purpose is leadership, is bringing fire into the people. It is moving a big crowd towards a goal continuously together, okay? It is the king and the queen that are, we're gonna conquer this land, and that using all of the generators to conquer the land, okay? But Nowadays, manifestors don't want to dominate. They are no longer tyrants because we're in 2027. And what they're here is to really break open the possibility of what is available to us. Their impact comes from their voice. And a manifestor's energy peak is just in that first vision. And that is it. You're not meant to be working like a generator. You're not meant to invest all of your time into doing all of the things. You're here to share the vision. And that is how you create impact. And the manifestor's aura is very specific. The manifestor's aura is a closed aura. And a lot of time on the internet, you will find resources that are saying and calling it a repellent aura. And I really don't like this, okay? But the way that I have visualized it by seeing my daughter interact is that a manifestor's aura is really an energy of pushing outward. It is really that, energetic frequency of moving people forward. So when most of the populations are generators and manifesting generators that have an open aura, an enveloping aura, join us and let's dance together aura, let's play together on the playground aura, and the manifestor comes in, oftentimes people take a step back. And maybe if you're a manifestor, you've experienced this. There's some people that you might know from work and they're outside of the door having a chat, having a coffee, and you join and you just notice how everybody just kind of like, it's so weird because I see this all the time with my daughter. People just take a step back. It's not personal, okay? There's people who are there for you, who will love you and be your biggest fan and do everything they can to bring your vision into life. And then there's people who just won't resonate with your energy and who won't understand the power and dominance of your aura. It doesn't matter what you do. As a manifestor, you are the most dominant energy type that there is. And for a lot of people, and even for yourself, if you have not understood and embodied that energy in a wholesome, aligned way, people will take a step back. And it's not personal, it's just that those people aren't meant for you. Then we have the reflector aura. The reflector aura, the reflector is 1% of the population. It's what we call our unicorn. If we have a reflector in the chat, say hello, because everybody loves the reflector. And I want you to really understand that reflector's aura is like Teflon. All of their energy centers are open. Reflectors are this 1%, they're lunar energy beings, meaning that really their energy is, they often say you're like the most sensitive, the most sensible, and yes, because they're so open, they carry the weight of the world. But the truth is that the reflector actually isn't that sensitive because it's not here to hold on to anything. Once the reflector understands that they're here to be completely free and that they have absolutely nothing to lose and that everything they experience will come and go through them and they're not responsible to holding on to anything that doesn't belong to them, they will be able to embody their purpose. And if you know a reflector, then you need to understand that a reflector's purpose is to mirror back the health of the community, of the workplace, and of the family that they're grown up with. Oftentimes, reflectors are so different to each other, so individual, because they are a mirror of what they've been surrounding themselves with. And depending on the environment they're in, depending on the people that they're with, that is when it really influences them and changes them. And so a reflector, to have them in your life and to ask, listen, how are you doing? How are you feeling? It will give you direct feedback of what is working around them and what is not working around them. And so what I love most about human design is that there's something tangible that comes with it. There's something practical that you will understand. And this is what I want to give you today. And that is going to be your strategy. And your strategy in your human design is your direct path that you can start implementing right now to see change, to overcome obstacles. It is your direct mechanics to contribute and collaborate with the universe to create success and abundance. Let me know in the chat, what are your biggest questions or doubts around your strategy? Okay. Your projector strategy is to wait for the invitation. And so many of you are like, oh my God, waiting for the invitation. What does that even mean? I don't have consistent energy and I have a penetrating aura and now I don't have consistent energy and I'm only meant to work 3 hours a day. How is this ever possible? So again, your worth is not by how many hours you work, but it is how well you explain what only you can see. And so your strategy of waiting for the invitation doesn't have to be passive. You only need to wait for the invitation for dating, for sharing your specific projector niche gifts, and for moving in with somebody, okay? So the invitation is not always straightforward. An invitation comes always first through recognition. What does that mean? Somebody needs to recognize you first. The moment that you are recognized, that is when space is created within the other person and your wisdom can land. You know the reason projectors often, or you as a projector often feel rejected? Because as projectors, we want nothing else to be seen and to be loved, and we want to tell everybody, I can help you, I can help you, hello, me. Hi, does somebody see me? And we feel so overlooked because all of the other energy types, they're like, I've got energy, I'm gonna give you my advice, and I'm gonna work, and I'm gonna hustle, and I can do this, and I can do that. And so, unfortunately, this is not how the projector works. And so only when you get an invitation, only when people recognize you, there's space for them for your wisdom to land, okay? And so this is so important because if you don't wait for the invitation, you will fall deep into bitterness. And so the invitation for the projector is really about understanding your worth first. Taking back all that need of outside validation. And the way that you can expand your aura, the way that you can enrich your magnetism is by really focusing on what you love to do. If you thought that, I don't know, 7 years ago when I started studying human design, people thought I was insane. And I was like, you know what, this just calls me. There's a voice within me that's just telling me to learn about this. And it completely changed my life. I was working trillion hours. I was sick, I was burned out, I had an autoimmune disease, and I hated myself deeply to the core. I thought something was wrong with me. I thought God didn't love me. I was in a big, black, dark hole, just not understanding why I was doing everything right, but nothing worked for me. And the moment that I understood that everything was happening for me, and I was on my knees crying, rock bottom, and I understood that being a projector was what I had missed this whole time, and that everything that I was doing was against my authenticity, was against who I truly am and my purpose, and I was able to let go, my life became so incredible, abundant, aligned, and successful. And so understanding your strategy of waiting for the invitation is the best thing that can happen to you, because you think it is keeping you stuck, but actually it is helping you avoid shit that isn't for you. And I know you projectors, you fall in love with somebody and you're like, oh, I see all of their potential, they're meant for me. If they don't invite you, this is God in the universe protecting you from somebody who's not meant to be. It doesn't matter how much you see with your penetrating aura that this is the one. That person is not the one if they haven't invited you, okay? And so what happens is that as a projector, you fall into your not self theme when you try to do things like everybody else and you're not seeing recognition. You fall in your not self because there is this deep pain that lives within you, that you were not recognized as a child, that you were forced to move against your authenticity from childhood on. And I see this on a playground, and I love taking a male projector boy, for example, because it is such a clear example, right? You have the projector boy, and you know, you have this very masculine father who's taking the kid to the playground, and the projector boy is playing with its little toys in the sand, and the father sees other kids playing, and he's like, come on, go and play with the other kids. And the projector boy doesn't invite it, and he's fine with it. That doesn't say anything. The main thing that you need to understand, all energy types, all of you need to understand, what happens to us is not what causes us pain. It is what we believe what happens to us means about us, the meaning we attribute to the circumstance and situation that is keeping us suffering. And so the boy is happy. He's like, oh, I'm not invited. It's fine. I'm playing my thing. I'm doing my thing. I'm in my, you know, I'm doing my whatever, projectorness thing. And then the father is like, hey, come on, go play with the kids. And so the boy wants to gain respect and love from the father. And he's like, I'm going to push my authenticity aside. And then the boy goes with his like little toys and goes to the other boys. And the boys are like, we didn't invite you. You're desperate. Why do you come join us? We're generators and manifesting generators. We have open enveloping auras. We don't want to have, like, what are you doing here? We didn't invite you. And so then the boy gets rejected, right? And feels deep bitterness because he had to abandon a part of his true self, which is his projector strategy of waiting for the invitation, in order to feel loved by his father. But then he also feels rejected by the other boys that he wanted to play with. And so having that experience is so deeply ingrained in what it means to be a projector, and feeling completely out of place in this society because we don't work how the world tells us we need work. That there is no way for us to become successful because there's only one way to be successful. And that is by hustling, that is by wanting it, that is by burning yourself out, that is by being harsh, that is by yelling at yourself, you can do more, you should do more, you're lazy, you don't belong, you don't deserve. And I'm here to help you understand that the waiting for the invitation is actually for you. The waiting for the, I will get to the manifesting generators, don't worry. The waiting for the invitation is for you so that you can see your own worth, so that you can understand that your wisdom is alchemized gold, waiting for people to like ask you on their knees, please share your wisdom with us. And only from that place of understanding your worth, my beautiful projectors, you're meant to share your wisdom with the rest. Okay? So, bitterness is nothing you're meant to run away from. Bitterness is the signpost that is telling you, hey, you have gotten off track. You need to come back to loving yourself, getting to know yourself, learning something new, giving that weird thing that you want to study a chance, right? And when you have bitterness, it is really just something that allows you to reassess that you have gotten off track of your purpose, okay? Manifesting generators. You are often just a subcategory to the generator. But I want to give you your own space so that we get you deeply aligned. As a manifesting generator, you as well have an open enveloping aura. And this aura is so intense, it is so magnetic. Why? Because you are a hybrid between the generator and the manifester. So whenever you want to go even deeper and take your energy even deeper, you should always be open to taking in the information of generators and manifestors. It can reach and deepen your knowledge. Your aura is open and enveloping. But what makes you so manifesting generate, okay, is that you're this beautiful soul that loves 1,000 things. The generator has one goal and one goal only. You know you are aligned as a generator when you do that one thing, you stick to it. As a manifesting generator, you are here to be disruptive. You are here to teach and show the world that it's not ABC, but that actually you can jump from one thing to the other. As a manifesting generator, you're gonna be super passionate about this new project you're starting, and you want to read this book, but you also want to do this other workshop, and now you're sitting in this human design thing, and everybody's like, but why do you want to know about human design? And you're like, I don't know, I just found it, I'm excited, I want to dig deep. And this is the sign of pure alignment for you as a manifesting generator. When instead of thinking from your mind, you're really feeling it in your body. You're like, yes, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm excited about. And so you have this very dominant energy. Nobody can resist the manifesting generator's charm. I always say your aura is like, it is more intense than the generator, but it is more energetic than the one from the manifester. And so your purpose is really to disrupt, because you're not here to learn vertically. You're here to learn horizontally. And that means that you will pick up a little bit from this, and a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. And so you will pick a little bit of all of these things, and people will want to make you feel bad. Oh no, but you have to stick to one thing. You can only be successful if you just like focus all your energy on becoming excellent as this one thing, which is something generators are here to subscribe to. But as a manifesting generator, your beauty lies in that you're incredibly curious and that you know a little bit of all of the things. And so when there's an obstacle, when there's a problem, when we're moving into the new paradigm, you will be the person that we will refer to and be like, hey, manifesting generator, how do you see things? Because you will be able to break through the patterns. You're here to disrupt what we know as like the typical thing. And you'll be like, hey, have you thought about mixing this and this together? And then you will be able to show how things that for most of us don't make any sense make absolute sense when you put them together. And so many people are always recommending everybody in business, you have to niche down, you have to niche down. Do not niche down as a manifesting generator, okay? This is the worst thing that you can do. As a manifesting generator, you gotta allow yourself to follow what sparks your gut. You gotta allow yourself to really open your mind, your heart to whatever it is it's calling you. Because maybe in the moment things don't make sense, but you will look back and you will be like, oh, that's why I feel called to do that in that moment. And so you have this divine purpose of really showing us that everything and anything is possible. And that when all of us are looking this very narrow-minded way, you will be like, no, guys, you have totally missed that this is a whole new path we need to walk. And you, dear manifesting generator, need freedom. You need to have that feeling of people trust you. You need to be in charge. You want to break through, break open, and really pave the way for a disruptive new way of living life. And so this is how your purpose will manifest itself. And so generators and manifesting generators, you have the same strategy, and that is to respond. Respond means that you're here to listen to your gut. And so as generators and manifesting generators, you have this specific strategy. And this strategy is not wait to respond, okay? This strategy is really to understand that waiting is only for the projector. But as a manifesting generator and generator, you have the sacral center. And this sacral center is very basic. It is a hell yes or a hell no. And so the more that you start to understand that you need to ask yourself very specific questions, and those specific questions being yes or no, do I want to eat a salad or do I want to eat pasta? If you ask yourself too broad of a question, you will get lost in the answer because your body has a visceral gut reaction, okay? This visceral gut reaction is all about understanding what is right for you and how to attune to your purpose. And so if you don't know the answer to a specific question that you need to ask yourself, become more clear. You can help your children, you can look in your work, you can really look at, okay, what are the things that I'm excited about? Is it this? Is it that? If you ask yourself too broad of questions, your sacral won't be able to react. And so what happens is that this sacral center is really a space that is meant to hold you. It is meant to guide you. And so I want to talk a moment about the conditioning that exists in the sacral center. Because what happens is that, let's take small generator, small manifesting generator. You've been told that, you have to throw out the trash. You're a little kid, you're like, you have to throw out the trash, and you are like, ugh, no, disgusting. Your sacral center is like, well, I don't want to do this. This is gross. What do your parents tell you? Don't be selfish. Who do you think you are? And so what happens is that in that moment, you start being afraid of expressing yourself, because you're being taught that when you say what you feel, when you say what your gut wants, you will not be loved and accepted by your environment. And so the small generator and the small manifesting generator, they're like, you know what, I better throw out the trash even though I don't want to, because this feels unsafe. And so this is what we call education. This is what we teach our children, because we're not aware of how much we as children are already connected to our purpose. And so the generator and the manifesting generator, from really small, from being children, are getting conditioned. You need to reject your sacral center. You need to reject your guiding voice in order to be loved and accepted. And so we become adults, and you can see this. We don't know what to study. We don't know what our purpose is. We don't know what to do with our work. We don't even know what to eat, or we don't even know what to wear. And so once we start understanding how deep this conditioning goes for generators and manifesting generators, and how important it is to create the safety in your sacral center, to understand that only when you allow yourself to listen to that sacral center, you will be able to take a step into the right direction. You will be able to collaborate with the universe. The universe is consistently sending you impulses in that energy field, in that magnetic aura, that are handed to you on a silver platter. And every time you say yes and every time you say no, you make a decision that is aligned with your purpose. And so that sacral center only has a specific amount of place, a specific amount of capacity. The more you say yes to things that drain your body, the less your energy has to fuel your aura. Okay. The more you say yes to things your sacral doesn't want to say yes to, the more it drains your energy. The more it drains your energy, the less fuel your aura has. When your aura doesn't have fuel, then it doesn't have a capacity to send and bring you the inputs your sacral needs to react to. So when your sacral has nothing to react to, when your sacral has nothing to respond to, that's when generators and manifesting generators feel stuck. That is when you just don't understand why everything's working for everybody else. When you're drained of energy, when you don't feel sexy, when you don't feel creative, when you're just like feeling that the juice is missing, when you don't feel magnetic. And this is when we start moving out of our authenticity. This is when frustration arises. This is when you're like, you know what? I just want to get what I want to get. And you start initiating, you start forcing, you start, doing plans with somebody because you're reaching out and you just want to get shit done, but you haven't listened to your gut. Because you've been trained to be afraid and fear what your gut is really telling you. And the moment that you allow yourself to really cleanse that sacral center and be very clear around what you accept, your boundaries, using conscious communication and to say no to the things you really don't want to do, that is when you're able to move out of your not self theme. Because frustration for generators and manifesting generators, it's the same. It's this really deep sense of frustration. And for generators, it's going to come from doing things and forcing things without listening to your gut and allowing the world and the universe to guide you, to find you, for you to respond to life, but to operate from the mind and trying to force things. And for you as manifesting generators, this not self theme will arise, this frustration will arise either because you're too much in the doing and you've forgotten the power of your voice. You're too much in the, I have to get this done, I have to get this done. And you don't mention, you don't say, you don't share your vision and your ideas with others. Or you're so much in your masculine, you're so much in the manifestor side that you're constantly just like forcing things and pushing things and being dominant with your energy, and you have forgotten to actually listen to what it is you desire to do, what it is that you love doing. And the same as the generator, your energy peak as a manifesting generator is in the doing of the thing. That is when both you generators and manifesting generators are in your most unapologetic way of moving towards. And so once you understand that your frustration comes from not trusting your gut, it is all about really strengthening the muscle, the trust muscle with the universe that allows you to be your whole, full, authentic self. And that you are safe to trust your sacral. That actually trusting your sacral is the only thing that you can do so that you can achieve and create an abundant job, an abundant opportunity, an abundant and aligned, authentic love. And so for the manifester, the strategy is to inform. To inform for the manifester means that you need to speak your truth. You need to say the things that you want. Nobody can read your mind. And because you have a closed aura and because you hate confrontation, you often think, you know what? I'm just going to do my thing. Nobody's going to notice anything. I just want to be a lone wolf and I'm going to do whatever it is that I want to do. But you don't realize as a manifester, because you're so dominant and because you're so strong, that if you just do things the way you want to do them, your aura is going to slap people awake. They're going to be like, hey, where are you going? What are you doing? Oh, no. And you're going to get angry. Your not self theme will arise because you just wanted to do your own thing. And so I've never met a manifestor who actually enjoys informing, but informing is the way that you actually move out of resistance. Informing is the way that you're able to open up this little window in the door of your aura, so that other people can see what's actually going on behind you, beneath you, in the trenches of your closed aura. And so for manifestors, because you are so dominant, a lot of times you can be afraid of taking up space. And that fear of taking up space starts manifesting as proving everybody how strong you are, proving everybody how dominant you are. And so people don't react to that. And when you feel this, like somebody trying to compete in your power, somebody trying to compete with you, it makes you even more angry because you understand intrinsically that you have this king and queen energy. And so the moment that you start informing and using your voice to tell people what you feel, what you want, what your purpose is, people will roll out the red carpet and be like, dear manifestor, you're allowed to be and walk and do whatever it is that you want. And those creative urges that you're meant to have, they only come when you rest. The first step for a manifestor is to actually rest. And once you rest, you will be able to connect to the impulses that the universe is here to give you. As the manifestor, you're the only energy type that doesn't need collaboration from the universe, because you have that energy that curses through you. And so manifestors, contrary to projectors, have a very similar contrary kind of trauma. The projector boy, who by societal standards is here to initiate and go after what it wants, won't be able to be successful. And for the manifestor female, it's very similar. Because the world tells women to be passive and to stand back and to wait to be invited, a manifestor woman oftentimes feels shame through her desires of actually wanting to take action, or might find more confrontation because she's a woman in a man's world. Take Martha Stewart, for example. Martha Stewart is a manifestor who was one of the first female American billionaires, and she started in the stock market surrounded only by men, right? And a lot of times she doesn't come off as the super nice, polite, like sweet woman, right? There is like a certain harshness and masculine energy in the way that she shows up. But that is the most aligned way that she has to really move through life. And so anger will arise for you, manifestor, when you forget to inform, when people are up in your business, when they want to know all of the things because you just want to be left alone to your own like devices and do whatever it is that creative urge is pulling you to do, right? And so when you feel that anger, it is important to understand that anger, out of all of the not self theme, out of all of the emotions that we can feel, anger is actually that feeling that the more we feel it, the bigger it gets. So it is important that you allow to understand that that anger that is often directed towards you doesn't necessarily need to be directed towards you, but that it has the permission to be centered around the person that is actually causing you process. That you can get out of anger with playfulness. When you see the humor in things, if you have a manifestor child, it is so beautiful to watch how with a little bit of games, with a little bit of like humor, you can really move that energy around very quickly. Okay, the manifestor's fear is that they are so big. They've been told from childhood, like, why are you taking up so much space? You're too independent. You shouldn't be allowed to dream so big. You don't have as much power as you think you have, because it threatens the role of the parents. As parents, we've been told we're here to guide. We've been told we're here to tell people how to do it. Tell our children how they're meant to be doing it, right? But for the manifestor, it is born with such certainty. The number one thing all manifestor clients I've ever had shared with me that like hurt them the most is that their parents didn't believe in their own path, and they questioned the manifestor's capacity to know what's best for them. But as a mom to a manifestor daughter, I'm telling you, I know that what's best for the manifestor is what they believe is best for them. And it doesn't matter if you give them permission now or you give them permission later, they will go their path no matter what. For the reflector, the strategy is to wait 28 days. Why do we have to wait 28 days for the reflector to be able to have an aligned strategy? Because the reflector is so open, there's so much information that is constantly moving through them. There is every week a different energy type, a different activation that allows them to have a different experience every single time. And so when they make decisions too quickly, they make the decisions from an energy that is not their full authentic self. And so reflectors are often burdened by the pain of the world. Because they have this openness, they carry and hold on to the emotions and the fears of everybody around them. But actually, when they start realizing that they really are this blank canvas, they can step into the wisdom they're here to teach the world, because they will be able to call out the bullshit from everybody else. And so the not self theme for the reflector is disappointment. Disappointment because the reflector wants to hold on tight. Disappointment because the reflector wants to really not feel that airy sense there's nothing to hold on to. In a society where we're also focused on individualism, this is my brand, this is how I look like, this is my font, this is how I'm dressed, and this is like my character, the reflector will feel so lost because they are nothing and everything at the same time. And so when they allow themselves to give themselves that 30-day, that lunar cycle, before they're able to make a decision, they will be able to really double down on who they are. And that time that they need waiting, it is not to piss anybody off. It is not to insert any kind of dominance. It is really because it is their natural selection to be able to filter out who and what is right for them and what not. To end, I want to talk about the last step of understanding your energy type, and that is your signature. And your signature is your northern star. Your signature is what allows you to understand your success, how you're meant to make money, and what are the signs that you are actually on the right path. I'm going to do the projector, I'm going to do the generator, I'm going to do the manifestor, I'm going to do the manifesting generator, and then I'm going to do the reflector, okay? Because I know that there's been some confusion, so I just want to be clear. The signature for the projector. The signature for the projector is success. And I always find this to be very ironic because out of all of the energy types, we are the least energetic. So we are the least to achieve success in this very normal societal way, right? And it is so painful because as projectors, we all have this deep desire to become successful. And I know a lot of people want to discuss this with me, but success for a projector is recognition and monetary safety. You know you are properly invited as a projector when somebody pays for your services. This doesn't mean that you can't give advice to your friends. But it does mean that as a projector, when you start finding your niche and you start getting paid for what it is that only you can see, you will notice that you will stop analyzing everybody in your life, okay? You will stop using your energy to be like, oh, how can I help this person and this person and this person? Because you have a clear invitation on where your gifts are the strongest. And so success for a projector is this deep recognition, this energy peak of like, there's a feedback that is positive, that allows you to feel seen, because projectors see others so clearly that it is so painful sometimes to feel like, why does nobody see me? And so that success for a projector is never selfish. A projector's success is directly linked to how much success they're bringing into other people's lives. So a projector that is selfish, I just want to make money, I'm just going to do this business, I just want money for myself, I want to be super rich, is never going to achieve that monetary success. Because projectors are so deeply intertwined with serving others. Our purpose as projectors is so deeply of service to making other people see their potential, seeing their dreams come to fruition, that when we become successful, it is only by proxy. And when we stop focusing on me, why do I don't get attention? What is my purpose? How can I make money? And we stop constantly being in this lack mindset and this feeling of unworthiness, and we really focus on being giving, on being supportive, on doubling down on helping everybody else achieve their dreams, we will find our retribution. Success will find us, but only as a collateral to us being obsessed with other people's success and financial gains. The generator and the manifesting generator, your signature is satisfaction. And the reason that this can be confusing is because you might think, no, but I want to make money. I want to be successful. I want to have a thriving business. But actually, the beauty of understanding energetics is that an eye is not for an eye, okay? What happens, and this is something that I've learned in my Kundalini practice, is that you will do energetic stuff here and money will be coming in back there, okay? How do we see this? Because satisfaction is your northern star. Society wants to tell you gotta have a job that you hate, work hours that you despise, to make some kind of money, to buy shit, to impress people you don't even like. And what human design is telling you is that actually, when you focus and you allow yourself to put all of your energy into creating satisfaction in your life, and satisfaction for you manifesting generators and you generators is like this deep, warm, yummy feeling in your tummy, like you've just had a delicious meal that gives you the smiles. That is that deep sense of satisfaction. And that deep sense of satisfaction, when you prioritize that in your life, that is when the collateral will be money, will be success, will be everything else that you desire. And oftentimes, it is actually the generator, the manifesting generator, who will enjoy doing things for free. And you might think like, oh, but if I do things for free, how will I make money? Again, it is the understanding that it is not an eye for an eye, but that actually when you become so infused with the love of what you're doing, with the creation, with the generating of this satisfactory experience, that your aura becomes so magnetic, you won't even notice all of the money, opportunities, abundance, and success that is being drawn in by your incredible magnetic aura. And so it is so important to understand that the moment that you start doing shit you don't want to do because you should do, oh, I have to do a newsletter because my coach said I have to do a newsletter. I have to do this. I have to post consistently on Instagram. All of these shoulds, all of these musts that are keeping you miserable because you think that is the only way to do them. I can tell you with certainty, accompanying thousands of generators and manifesting generators, that the way that you will gain the most amount of magnetism, radiance, success, and abundance is by absolutely throwing all of that to the wind and doubling down on the things that excite you, on the things your sacral lights up, and really making this deep satisfaction your priority. And you'll be like, yeah, but if I love caressing my cat, how am I gonna make money? Listen. There is somebody in Japan that created cat cafes, and that is an incredible, successful business. And that was somebody who's like, oh, I love hanging out with my cat all the time. Maybe I should create places where other people can come out and hang out with their cat all the time. And they have created an incredible, abundant, wild, strange, very unique business model, right? And so it is so important to understand that if you're not sure what direction to take, or if your sequel isn't responding to yes and no, that you really double down on whatever decision I make, whatever action I take. Will it create more satisfaction, or will it actually create frustration? And so for generators and manifesting generators, you need to understand that everything that is tearing away from your satisfaction will drain your energy, will drain your sensuality, your creativity, your joy, your juice, your magnetism. Your energy is the barometer for how aligned and how close you are to your purpose. The reason we all lack energy, no matter the type, but specifically generators and manifesting generators. But the reason we lack energy is because the universe is stopping us in our track. It is taking away the energy from us so that we stop walking onto a direction that is taking us away from our purpose. Okay? Yeah? Do we understand? Okay. For the manifester, your signature is peace. And this is a wild one because we often think of manifestors as these very powerful, dominant, angry beings. But the truth is, when we find an aligned manifester, they are a rock. They're a zen piece of masculine energy you just want to lay your head upon, because whatever drama is happening, they will bring the peace. They will just give you that sense of, I got you, it's gonna be okay, I'm gonna figure it out. There's so much fear in manifestors of being dominant, of being in a position of leadership, of being a person of authority, because all of these masculine traits have been demonized in our society. But actually, there's so many divine, beautiful qualities of the masculine energy that the manifestor is here to implement. And the biggest mistake I see in manifestors who are not achieving success is that they try to use force and dominance when all of us already know that you're dominant and strong. We don't need you to prove it to us. But if you want to gain respect, and if you want to gain responsibility, and if you want people to follow your lead, this is not how you get them to do it. You get them to do it by actually not focusing on, I'm going to tell you what to do, but asking, where do you need to go? And I will put my hand in the fire, and I will promise that I will get you there safely. And that calm, peaceful energy that you're here to bring into the world, that you're here to create for yourself and your life, will open all doors, and everybody will come and look towards you to be their pillar on which to hold on to when everything else is crumbling and chaotic. And last but not least, the reflector's signature is surprise. And so why is that the signature of a reflector? You know that you're here to live a life full of surprises because you never know, because you're completely open, because life will come and you'll be like, okay, let's figure this out. Let's bring me to this location. Let's have crazy wild things happening to you because you're open, because you're not stagnant, because you're no longer holding on to something that isn't yours to begin with. So when you have a life that is full of beautiful surprises that are taking you just on an adventure, say yes. Move out of the rigidity of that false idea that you have control, and really allow yourself the integrity of your openness and of that beautiful sampling aura to bring you towards the spaces where people recognize you for your wisdom. And you will realize that once you let go of what you thought you had to hold on to because it didn't feel safe, you will be finally in the right place at the right time. Let me know if this resonates. You might be working hard. You might even be trying multiple strategies, but the money and the safety around abundance doesn't feel consistent. You put in so much energy, yet you don't see the match in the return of your effort. And sometimes you feel scattered, you feel unseen, you feel frustrated, restricted by this common thread that is a sense of you're not being fully aligned, of you sacrificing your soul, your desire, your true idea and vision of what your life could be like. And maybe one of your biggest fears right now is like, all of this sounds great, Micah, but if I do it differently, will it actually work? What if my way doesn't make me the money I desire? What if I lose trust, I get left behind, or miss opportunities? Let me know in the chat. If you want to make money in a way that feels natural, energizing, sustainable, where you're paid for not forcing yourself into someone else's box or strategies of way of living, but actually being able to create a life full of alignment with your own design. Because the world has told you that success is a one-size-fits-all. Hustle harder, follow a linear plan, be productive, be fast. That condition is what is poisoning your capacity to fully trust yourself. It pulls you away from your natural energy, and it keeps you chasing strategies that don't work for you. And I know this because I've seen this in myself and countless others. I was broken with an autoimmune disease. I cannot tell you the darkness that I was living in because I hated myself. And I thought that I would never have a life that feels right or that feels like what my heart would desire. And the moment that you start working with your type instead of against it, everything is going to shift. And you will notice how your clients stop slipping away, how money starts flowing more consistently, and your business begins to feel like it actually fits you. Stop changing who you are and your life for a business, and actually create a business that fits your desires, your soul, and your authenticity. It's the only way to find and make a spot and a mark for yourself and to be able to create a legacy. When people understand their energy type, they stop wasting time on things that drain them. And you're going to discover your natural blueprint for wealth creation, whether this is through joy, recognition, initiation, environment, and the result is that money comes through alignment and not exhaustion. And right now, you're probably trying to copy the strategies that weren't built for your energy. You're chasing money in ways that work for others but not for you. And the biggest mistake is ignoring your type, because that's where the money leaks happen, when you try to be someone that you're not. My beautiful souls, you have just received your cellular activation. The cellular activation is something magical that happens only in human design, which is where words carry a certain frequency. And these words are specific so that their frequency awakens your dormant DNA. Your dormant DNA will start a deconditioning process. So today is the first day that you have received this information, and some things will take time to settle. And you will notice how the next couple of days, you will start to look at life differently. As a projector, you will start noticing more invitations. As a generator, you will start connecting to your sacral. As a manifesting generator, you will stop judging yourself for loving 1,000 things that you've got on your plate that you're curious about. As a manifester, you will stop forcing your dominance and own that you already carry that power within you, and that your only responsibility is to bring peace into every space, place, and person that you encounter. And for you as a reflector, you will be set free from the constraints of the fear of being absolutely fearless. My beautiful souls, I appreciate every one of you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you got some sense of clarity. I went over the time, but I still hope that there was some wisdom that you were able to extract from here. And please give me your feedback, DM me, message me, share this with your community. Tomorrow we're going to touch on the variables, how to be at the right time, at the right place. and I will give and pick and I will pick out a couple of beautiful people to give a little human design reading to. So thank you so much. And remember, I don't care what anybody says, I love you. And to finish this beautiful session, I have created a meditation, a subconscious dive that will deeply allow you to let go of any patterns that you have with family dynamics, limiting beliefs, or anything that is constricting your capacity to receive and create wealth and abundance for yourself. So I'm gonna take a moment to use the bathroom, to have a sip of water, and I will see you in my meditation crook. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your time. I'm eternally grateful for having you here. And tomorrow we're gonna discuss consistency, discipline, and how to create luck in your life so that you are in fact at the right place at the right time. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in a moment. Hello, my beautiful, beautiful souls. Let's get comfortable. I love how these candles, I cleaned the screen, I don't know how often, but it's still giving this very mystical vibe. Hi, my beautiful, beautiful people. I am so excited for all of you who are staying here for this meditation, subconscious dive. As I explained yesterday, subconscious dives are like my in-house meditations that are here to really go deep into your brain waves that are going to activate your subconscious so that we can really not only understand very consciously, and today having received the cellular activation that will start awaken these dormant DNA cells within us to really understand a certain language. And this actually, the cellular activation comes from the Kabbalistic understanding that each letter has a frequency and has a sound, and that sound is there for a purpose. And so today we're going to dive deep into really cutting the patterns in old lifetimes and timelines that are keeping us small around abundance and money. We oftentimes have these kind of unspoken rules in our family dynamic, these kind of the sense of loyalty towards mostly family dynamics, or just like an idea of who we're allowed to be. And so I'm very excited to dive with you into this. I'm gonna put the music back on. This is a specific meditation that a friend of mine created for us that is really created with the purpose. She works with Eckhart Tolle also to create this specific beta theta brainwaves in a way that will allow us to really integrate and apply deeply this information. Okay, where's the music? So get comfortable. You can get your journal out if you want to, just in case something comes up. And I'm gonna start with a low volume. And you can let me know in the chat if this is good. How do we feel about the volume of the music? Too high, okay. Better? Are we doing better now? Yes, okay, fantastic. So as always, I want you to just take a moment and take a deep breath through the nose. You can do a double inhale and breathe out through the mouth. And I really like to stretch my fingers as high as I can because it makes me kind of like sense and feel my energy field. And really start cultivating that energetic intelligence around your aura and your energetic frequency. I want you to close your eyes, put your right hand on your heart and your left on your belly, and allow your visualization, no matter how creative or wild or childlike it is, to fill in the possibility of what your energy field and aura could look like. Is your aura pulsating, vibrating? Does it have a certain color, a certain texture? Is it opalescent, swirling, golden, warm light? How does your aura and your energy field look like to you? If you're noticing some stagnation, you can use your hand to fill it out. If you're noticing that there's some holes or some imperfections that you want to mend, just allow your intuition and your imagination to really Get into that understanding of the energy field and how it moves and contextualizes around you. So seldom do we get to honor our energy field and our body's frequency. Sit within your energy and really feel the vibration, the pulsation, the electricity that is built around you. And before we begin, I want you to call in your energy wherever you might have left it today, any pieces of your energy that you feel you might have outsourced. Call back in all dominant energy back to your integrity, back to your whole authentic self. And while you put that intention into the world, notice how your energy is finding its place back to you, safe and home in your body. And I want you to release and expel and let go of any energetic mist that is hanging in your openness. Assess your open energy centers where there might be emotions stuck that aren't yours, fears stuck that aren't yours, pressures in your system that don't belong to you, thoughts, problems that you have been holding on to, that right now you are allowing yourself to release and set free to get back to wherever they belong to. Take a deep breath to help the release of all stagnant energy. And as you breathe in, you visualize all of that beautiful, authentic, dominant energy that belongs to you entering your space, your energy field, your body, your heart, your soul. And as you exhale, you let go and you release all that doesn't belong to you. I want you to start focusing on your breath. Exhale slowly. And really getting out those last energetic residuals, years of heaviness that have never belonged to you. Feel into your body. And you can scan your body intuitively with your hand or just your visualization. Feel into the places where money, safety, and worth have been feeling heavy or limited. Most of us have grown up under ceilings we didn't even know were there. Ceilings built out of our parents' fears, ceilings built out of survival, ceilings built out of this is what's possible for people like me. And as you breathe, I want you to bring to mind the patterns that have kept you looping. The thoughts of not enough, the fears of safety, the ways money felt like something outside of you instead of inside of you. As a child, you might have absorbed their patterns. The whispers of "we can't afford that," the tension in their voices when bills came, the pride and sacrifice as if safety could only come from obedience and smallness, the silent belief that wanting more is greedy, unsafe, or shameful. Those ceilings, my beautiful soul, are not yours. They were built out of love, but they were also built out of fear. And I want your imagination and your visualization to track back to a specific moment and experience that is coming up right now that brought shame, blame, or smallness, or a limiting belief that you know exists you want to remove. Take a deep breath in, and I want you to imagine that with the exhale of your breath, those ceilings are cracking above. Take a deep breath in, tilt your head back, and breathe out, breaking all of the ceilings above you. Every inhale fills your chest with light. Every exhale sends a vibration that splits the ceiling apart. Tilt your head back and forth. You can roll your head in the back of your head. Visualize the light. Exhale the vibration that opens the ceiling into pieces. You are no longer bound by what your parents could or could not believe for themselves, or what society or yourself thinks you're allowed to be, have, or receive. You are no longer repeating their loyalty to struggle. And now, with every exhale, you're closing loops that were never yours to carry. You're releasing contracts of loyalty to lack, contracts of obedience to fear, contracts signed long before you even know what abundance was. And now quietly repeat after me. I release all vows and all timelines, all contracts and programs of lack, loyalty and obedience that are no longer serving me or mine to hold. I take in my sovereignty and deny all contracts, vows across all timelines, lifetimes, and dimension. I am free. Feel your body shift as you say this. Watch the version of yourself that was holding on to these contracts and ideas and beliefs walk away from you. Look this version of yourself that is small, that is in lack, that is afraid into its eyes and say goodbye. Watch this old version of yourself with all of the limiting beliefs walk away from you. Feel your body shift as you say this. I am free. Feel the old bindings loosen. Notice how much more space there is inside of you when you no longer carry those invisible contracts. Feel how your body softens when you give yourself permission to rise higher than those who came before. You might be the one who's here to change the karmic lifetime. This is not betrayal. It is expansion. It is freedom. It is the proof that the sacrifices were not in vain. Now, bring your awareness to your heart. You can put your hands on your heart. Imagine your heart as the original vault of abundance, the place where wealth has always lived. You do not have to chase it. You do not have to beg for it. The energy of money is the energy of circulation, of love, of expansion, of trust. It has always been inside you, waiting for your permission to flow. Feel your heart expanding, that energy of abundance, limitless, endless, continuous energy that is flowing from your beautiful, pure, innocent heart, enveloping your skin, your energy field, and seeping into everything it touches, to bring light, to bring joy, to bring beauty. I want you to visualize generations behind you, lined up, your parents, your grandparents, your great-great-parents, all of them holding the weight of survival. See their hands passing the weight down. Unconsciously, it had landed in yours. And now, with your heart full of love, you can give it back. You transmute this energy with gratitude. It has taught you, it has helped you understand, it has given value. But now with gratitude, it does not need to leave in your body anymore. Repeat after me. I return what is not mine. I keep the love, the strength, the lesson. I release the fear, break open the ceilings, and let go of the patterns of lack. I am free to create new foundations. I return what is not mine. I keep the love, the strength, the lessons. I release the fear. I break open the ceilings, and I let go of the pattern of lack. I am free to create new foundations. Breathe into your heart. Feel the gates of abundance opening inside you. The energy of money is no longer tied to obedience, ceilings, or sacrifice. It is in flow. It is in growth. It is in the expansion that multiplies not only through you, but everyone connected to you. Imagine these gates in front of you. They're massive golden gates that lead to a field of opulence, safety, and abundance. Until now they had been closed. But as you stand here, the gates open wide, not because you forced them, not because you proved yourself, but because you finally remembered. Abundance is your birthright. It is always there, and it is always yours to experience. Step through into a reality where abundance, money, and opulence feel as natural as a breath, where safety is not earned but embodied, where abundance is not taken from someone else but multiplied through you. Let yourself feel what it's like to live here. Not a one day, not a someday, but now. You can close the loops of lack, step into the infinite flow, and whisper to yourself, I am safe, I am free, I am abundant, and I claim this now. I am safe, I am free, I am abundant, and I claim this now. Breathe this truth into yourselves. Give yourself a hug so that you remember what this place feels and smells and looks like. Let it anchor into your nervous system, your subconscious, your lineage. You are no longer repeating the past. You are rewriting a new one. I am safe to go further than my parents did. I am safe to rise beyond the ceilings. I am safe to live in abundance without fear of loss, of rejection. The gates of money, safety, and opulence are open, and I am here to receive. Take a deep breath in through your nose and allow this truth to anchor deep into your heart space, to fill you with the joy of possibility and the truth of that abundance is always within your reach inside of you. Visualize your day and how it would feel and look like. From morning, from when you wake up to when you go to sleep. if it would be plenty, abundant, without fear of being seen as too much, ungrateful or greedy, if you could have all the things your soul desired. And maybe these are beautiful things that are so intrinsic, like fresh food and clean water, but maybe they're extravagant and your heart and your soul desires a different kind of luxury and abundance. And allow yourself to be unapologetic about the dreams you have that surround money, opulence, abundance, safety. None of it is too frivolous. None of it is too small. All of it is allowed to be part of your soul's experience. Bask in that fullness. Bask in that sense of success. Bask in that sense of achievement, calm, peace, pride in having achieved what you put out to achieve. And when you're ready, start lifting your arms beside you, slowly up until your hands meet above you. Your hands clash. Allow this energy to move through your spine, through your crown, ajna, third eye, throat energy center, personality center, sacral, and deep down into your root, anchoring this new belief into your energetic system. Breathe through your nose and breathe out. Breathe through your nose and breathe out. Breathe through your nose and breathe out. And as you slowly unclench your hands and come back to yourself, you can start reclaiming your energy back into this room. Start connecting to the temperature in the room you're in, the noises that you're hearing. And when you're ready, start stretching your hands and your limbs and slowly open your eyes. My beautiful souls, thank you so much for opening yourself up to really listening to what your soul and your heart is telling you. I think money is such a deep, powerful energy because it's got us all suffering in one way or another. And it is so ever present in all of our parts of our life because it is so intrinsic to our sense of safety and also so intrinsic to our understanding of experiencing different levels in life. And so one way or another, it holds deep stories about ourselves and who we believe to be in the world, how well attuned we are to understanding the energy of abundance and of money. So thank you all so much for showing up. Thank you so much for stepping into your higher self. I am forever grateful to have you all here. And I'm so excited to see you all tomorrow for our last day of the Energetics of Success. It is going to be a very impactful one because I know that the arrows are always mind-blowing. So if you're ready to have your mind blown, and we're gonna do a really beautiful meditation tomorrow where we're gonna focus on each energy center to bring alignment, and really focus on the different representatives and illnesses and trauma that are hidden in our energy center. So it's gonna be a powerful one. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, I don't care what anybody says. I love you. DM me. Let me know how this day felt for you. What are things that you've learned, that you've channeled, that you've realized? It helps me so much to curate the space as good as I can. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.